business and continue with your business as usual. Let's talk about foreign direct investments. And what are they really? What are they, and why is there such a high affinity to the Kenyan market? Now, with multinationals setting up within the nation, Kenyans have opined for regulations, among other things, so as the mwananchi can reap benefits from them. KTN's Moiga William with more sentiments from Kenyans.
Well, I think indeed back in studio, and once again we are back in the streets to engage Kenyans, and today's topic is about multinationals in concern or in relation to job creation and also consumption of raw materials here in Kenya. Let us engage one or two residents and have a listen on their take.
One, we are going to get benefits in terms of employment to our professionals that have not been employed over such a long time. Also, our youths will also get experience, and also transfer of knowledge, because they come with a lot of skills, and then some of our people will also maybe get an opportunity to interact with them. So I believe it's one positive thing. And again, also in raw materials, for example, if people will come here, like a good example is in agriculture, where most of our feeds for animals and the rest have really the prices have really shot up. So if we got investors that would come here, give us cheaper ways of production, also buy our raw materials like maize, sunflower and others, and also give them back to us at lower prices, I think it would be of benefit to very many of us.
The big companies, surely it's good for them to support us because of the opportunity of the job opportunities. Even our raw materials can have a lot of money, because like in our country where we do farm a lot of green grams, you can see we are selling 1 kg at 50 shillings. Or even our parents who are students in a secondary or primary school can sell even 10 sacks of green grams, and they cannot finish the school fee of 5,000 because there is no price of green grams.
I think they should be regulated to an extent of at least a half of its management. The board of management should come from the nationalities. The other thing, they should partner with us or with the nation in the question of creating job opportunities and job on that direction. That is, yeah.
The national government should cooperate with the county government so that they can be able to put on local industries for the people who are in those areas, so that they can work in those areas. And if they do that, the county government and the national government will be able to earn more taxes.
I'm Moiga William, back to you in studio.
Very well. Many thanks, my colleague Moiga William, just gathering sentiments from Kenyans on what should make a proper investment plan for multinationals in the country, and of course how to strike the balance between local procurement and of course just finding that balance right here in Kenya. Joining me now in this conversation is Peter Thiga. He is a financial analyst at Kraft Boron. He was with us last week. Peter, good to see you again. My first question goes, why is there such a high affinity to Kenya from the multinationals in the worldwide platform?
Good to see you, Brian. The high affinity is being brought about by several factors. One of them being we have a high population of well-educated individuals. Secondly, taxation, tax incentives that is being given by the government. I must commend the government in being able to come up with regulations that ensure that it provides a conducive environment for the investor. Thirdly, location. As we all know, Kenya has positioned itself to be one of to be East Africa's hub, and this provides the close proximity with the ports, the airports, and of course how we are located as we have easy access to USA, Europe, and Asia. So basically, these are some of the factors that contribute to the high affinity of multinational. But one of the most pertinent points I can say is the government regulations. We have seen government really pushing forward these regulations in ensuring that ease of doing business is easy, and we have moved from number 59 in 2019 to 56 in 2020. And just to mention, this is a significant step, considering in 2014 we were in number 30 out of 190. So we are really seeing the government really pushing this regulatory overhaul, and this is having a positive sentiment in the market, and especially in attracting APIs.
Amazing. So let's talk about the industries that are attracting a lot of investment. Which industries are you seeing the investors focusing on? Is it agriculture? Is it tech? Is it textile? Is it food and processing or manufacturing? Which industries are these that are finding more investments in terms of FDIs?
Okay. It's very interesting. For example, you'd think a lot of FDIs are being directed toward or channeled towards the agricultural sector, but not really. A lot of sectors that are really experiencing growth in terms of FDI channeling are services sector, especially ICT. Which, if you're talking about ICT, you're talking about retail, we're talking about finance, banking and finance. These are some of the sectors that are really seeing growth when it comes to FDIs. And just to put it into perspective, I'd like to talk about it. I'd like to correlate it with the educational system that we have here in Kenya. A lot of, let's say, the urban sector, especially Nairobi, is service driven. And a lot of schools right now are being focused on service industry. If it's finance, if it's insurance, if it's ICT, these are some of the things that are really being focused on in the educational system. Additionally, most FDIs are moving away from extractive sectors, and they are moving now to the new age industries, which is the ICT, and this can be seen by even the government's push to push for 4G, 5G development. There's this even Konza City Technopolis that is being developed by the government as well. We're seeing a lot of interest moving towards those sites. So as an FDI, your aim as an FDI is, of course, to attract profits. And this can be seen, and this can be achieved by attracting as much capital as possible, and human capital that is readily available is in the service sector. So that is why a lot of these sectors, especially the ICT, finance and insurance, are seeing an increase in FDIs.
Amazing. Let's talk about the issue of procuring locally, and we have seen a lot of social media action and of course activism on why some FDIs are supposed to be procuring locally. Talk to us about that and how to strike the balance between maintaining costs and of course procuring locally and giving value to the locals.
Of course. When the government is providing these incentives to the FDI, one of the reasons why you're providing incentive is to attract as much FDI, what we call private capital inflows into the country. So if you're providing incentives and your main aim is to provide that private capital into the country, of course you're doing this because you want your citizens to benefit. As we have mentioned, one of the ways that they can benefit is through employment. In the case of EPZ and SPZs, but additionally, you really don't want to lock out the local producers as well. So you really want to starve the economy by procuring as much as possible from internally, just to, of course, provide income to the farmers, develop the sector that is being focused on, and of course, if you procure from local sources, we're talking about capital. Cash flows are being increased, capital money circulation are being increased. So the government in providing incentive is directly or indirectly trying to spark economic activities through enabling these FDIs to not only focus on the local sector, but as well as help the government in reducing the fiscal deficit that is quite huge in Kenya. We really want to lock out imports, and as well as spark internal production. So yes, it's a conversation that it's there, and the government is really working on ensuring that local production is being sparked, and as well as in the regulatory front, we are seeing government also locking out imports by increasing taxes, ensuring that the local producer here in Kenya benefits from FDIs indirectly or directly.
Amazing. Let's finish off with the elections this year. And do you think it's a threat to FDI's investment in the country? In under 1 minute, sir, what do you think about the elections and the investment environment?
My opinion is not really. I guess one of the things that I had failed to mention is one of the things that make Kenya a very attractive spot is the political stability that we have enjoyed for the longest time. As much as there might be that risk that comes with it, but it's not really a risk that we should panic about it, because for the longest time, especially except for 2007, 2008, we have enjoyed political stability. So we'll see a little bit of threat from investors, but not a significant amount, because as opposed to what the soft market happens, FDIs, they invest in companies, and most of the time they look at the long term. So from this perspective, we might see a little bit of erosion, but not as much as we anticipate. And of course, the Kenyan population is becoming more and more mature when it comes to election year processes. So yeah, I'm not seeing a risk on that front.
All right. Many thanks once again, Peter Thiga, that right there, financial analyst at Craft Boron.